listening to the Unleash Greatness podcast with your host, Jonathan Mitchell. The best in personal, emotional, spiritual, and business development.
Well, once again, thank you so much for the introduction, young lady. You're so nice to me. It is I, Jonathan Mitchell. This is Unleash Greatness podcast. Thank you so much for listening in. If you want to hear more from myself or Unleash Greatness or my guests or book reviews or whatever, go to unleashg.com. There's plenty of content material there, or go to iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you find podcasts. I will be there waiting for you. All right, so today is last day of the week, which is Shpeel Day. I get to talk about a random subject that I felt inspired to talk about with you. Hopefully it's inspiring for you. And today's podcast is sponsored by naturalmedicinemamamas.com. If you need help with alternative or natural products or health products or just advice or something like that for men, women, children, amazing stuff, please go check it out. Today, again, is Shpeel Day. I'm going to talk about, well, I think I'm actually wait for to tell you. So hang on here. We'll tune in. Let's get going. So just as a short review, just in case this is your first time listening in, Unleash Greatness, I try to focus on 4 different areas of life. So health, wealth, love or relationships, and perfect self-expression. So health is emotional and physical health. Wealth is spiritual and financial. Love is relationships, friendships, social life. And then self-expression is like your business, your career, your hobbies, like what you do to express yourself and makes you feel alive. I do that in 5 different episodes. Monday is an interview day. Tuesday is when I review the MBA class I'm going through, talk about business and other stuff with leadership and whatever comes to mind from classes. Wednesday is a book review day. I kind of go random based on the books that I love. Thursday is story time. I try to find stories from friends or just from articles online that I love. And lastly is Shpeel Day, where it's inspired by my time with troubled youth, where I just kind of just riff it and just talk about something I feel inspired to talk about. So today is Shpeel Day. This whole week I've been thinking a lot about, if you listened in last week, so this last couple of weeks I have lost a few very close people in my life. And it always makes me reflect on a lot of things. Death just has this funny way of kind of helping, at least it helps me remember what's important, what's not important, what am I doing with my life, how am I coming across to people, what kind of influence do I have. And so today I wanted to talk about service to yourself and then service to others. And I know maybe you hear about this subject a lot, but for me, I think that I talk to a lot of people who are either naturally givers and some people are naturally takers. I don't think it's always either or, but on a scale of taking and receiving, I think we usually sway to one way or another. Usually with different relationships, it changes. Like, for instance, as kids, we took a lot from parents, and the parents just gave to us all the time. Now that I'm older, I'm giving more to my parents, and they're taking, not because they need it or asked for it, but because I'm able to give back to them, and I'm happy to give back to them because of all the things they've done for me. And I think it changes based on your relationship. Sometimes you may be the giver in your, with your partner, with your wife, husband, spouse, whoever. You might be the taker, and sometimes you're the giver. It's okay to have that ebb and flow. I guess what I wanted to talk about today was how important it is to recognize when you are the giver and the taker, and when you need to give service to yourself and then service to others. So the last couple of weeks in book reviews, there's 2 books that talk about taking time for yourself in the mornings to write and emotionally process or just let your thoughts out on what's going on in your life. I feel like lately we get so busy with all the stuff going on that we rarely take the time for ourselves to debrief, to compute, to allow ourselves to go through stuff. So I always compare it when I talk to people or I coach people about breathing or eating. When I breathe in, I have to breathe out. When I eat something, it has to, digest and come out somehow. Like, there's nothing that we do as humans that stays in. And sometimes our thoughts or our emotions, we keep them in and they never come out. And so when you see people have like anger, eruptions, or they cry and have breakdowns, it's usually because they're so emotionally stuffed that they just can't hold it in anymore. And it's not the most healthiest way to live. Because just like if you held in on your food for weeks and weeks at a time, it'd probably not be a very pleasant experience once it actually left your body. So just like that, or just like air, you can only breathe in and hold it for so long, and then you have to breathe out and keep going in that rhythm. So first I want to talk about service to yourself. Do you take the time, and I ask this question to myself all the time, am I taking the time to take care of my body, my mind, my soul, my health? And I'm not perfect at this. I mean, I run this podcast and I talk to a lot of inspiring people, and there's some weeks where I do horrible and other weeks I do awesome. So please know I'm not talking from a point of being absolutely perfect with this. Part of the reason why I do this podcast is to push me to be better, not because I have it all figured out. So again, please know this is from a point of just from trying to coach and understand that this is what I get coached on and what I am working on myself. So very first thing is service to yourself. Do you take the time every day to do something for yourself? And I know you think, well, I feed myself and all that kind of stuff, but do you really take the time to make sure you're putting good things into your body, good things into your mind, good things into your soul? Even if it's just 15, 20 minutes, and I don't care if it's just calling up your mom or your sister, your brother, best friend, whoever, call somebody and just have a connection and have that communication that just fills your soul with energy. Do you give yourself permission to do that? Do you give yourself the space and time to work out? I always challenge people to say, I don't have any time to work out. I'm like, I don't care if you have time or not. Take at least 15 minutes, either in the morning or during lunch or something. Take 15 minutes where you at least do something. And it could be as easy as taking a walk. Do something physical that's just moving instead of just sitting around all day long. As I was told a lot at Franklin Covey, where I used to work, sitting is the new smoking. So you got to make sure you're not sitting as much because it has detrimental effects on your health. Point is, though, is that are you willing to look at your life and think to yourself, what am I doing to give to myself? I have found that when you give to yourself, like for instance, when you give yourself self-love, or you take care of your body, or you give yourself confidence, you don't have to rely on anybody else for those things. And then when you are able to give to somebody else, it's coming from you having a full cup, not from having an empty one. So again, what do you do to give to you? I'll tell you, one of the things I do is when I'm able to relax for a second is I put some headphones on. I put a random mix on iTunes for new music I haven't heard before. I let it play, and I play a couple of games on my phone as I listen to music that I just love. I love hearing new music that I've never heard before. Any genre, I don't care. I just love listening to what people are doing with music. That to me is when I get to give to myself. And it feeds my soul, and I love it and enjoy it. And it's especially even more fun when I find a song that I just can't get enough of. So again, I don't care what it is. Take one area of your life where you're willing to give to yourself somehow, some way, in some fashion. Second thing is service to others. Now, there's large and small parts. In one of the articles I wrote on LinkedIn, to be a philanthropist is to have a love of humanity. So if you say I'm a philanthropist, you don't have to be a billionaire philanthropist. You can be a hundred-air philanthropist. Money is not what makes a philanthropist. It's the person who does. And that you can have a love of humanity at any income range, any place in your life. It doesn't matter what you're doing. You can have that love for humanity. So when you think about doing service, I want you to think of yourself as a philanthropist instead of like just doing service. I guess for me, I heard service all the time growing up, and it sometimes had a negative connotation because that meant free labor for somebody else. And I'll admit I probably had a negative attitude. It probably wasn't the right mindset as a kid, but my wonderful angel mama taught me differently. And the thought is, again, love of humanity. What are you doing on a daily basis to show a love for humanity? Whether that's just being nice and non-judgmental to someone who's being a waiter at you with food, someone at the grocery line, paying for someone's gas behind you, or paying for somebody's food. In fact, here's a challenge that I've done a couple of times, and I've actually had someone do it for me, and I have no idea who they are, is when you're in the fast food lane or any type of lane where you're going through something, or a car wash or something, you say to the person who's taking your money and say, hey, I want to pay for the next car's food. Just for fun. They have no idea who you are, and it may be like $20, $30, whatever. But it is the coolest feeling to know you've done that. And it's also cool to be on the other side of it, because I've had someone do that to me where I had no idea who it was. I just pulled up and they said, hey, the guy in front of you just paid for your food. I'm like, awesome. That's sweet. It's just fun to be able to do some service for the love of humanity, just for the sake of loving humanity. That's it. That's the only reason why you do it, not for not for people to think that you're cool, not to get some sort of charity write-off, not to do anything else, but just to give to somebody else just because you want to. I always say to make sure you follow your intuition, follow your thoughts. If you feel like there's someone, a homeless person who might need some money, if you have a friend that might be struggling that needs some money, family members, if you need someone who you feel like, if you have a thought saying, I think I need to call this person, there's more than likely a very good reason why you're having that thought, and you probably should follow it. I don't know how many times I've thought to myself, I should call this person when I haven't talked to them in years, and I ignore it, and then I finally go, fine, I'll just call them. And I'll call them, and they'll be like, oh my gosh, I know we haven't talked forever, but I so miss you and need to talk to you. I'm like, okay, cool. And they just call me and talk to me about whatever issue's going on, and I'm able to be there for them and to serve them by just being a friend and with connecting, even if it was random and even if we haven't spoken in however long. So allow intuition to guide you on what you need to do to serve and to give that love of humanity to someone else, to become a philanthropist, to give just for the sake of the love of giving. So again, I want you to think about, to review, what do you do to give to yourself, to love yourself, the philanthropist of yourself, to give to yourself with your physical self, your money, your time, your energy. What do you do to give to yourself, and find a way to give to yourself every single day? It doesn't have to take time. It might be you buying yourself an ice cream cone. It could be doing a workout. It could be listening to music like I do. It doesn't matter what it is. Whatever fills your soul, take 5, 15, 20, half hour. I don't care what it is. Take the time to give to yourself. Secondly, make sure you take the time to give in some way, shape, or form the love of humanity to someone else. Maybe that's just sharing a nice note to a coworker. Maybe that's paying for food behind you at the fast food line. Maybe it's whatever. I mean, there could be lots of things, like calling a friend, writing a note to someone you appreciated. Do something and take notice of those around you that you can give to and show the love of humanity, and only do it just for the sake of just doing it to love humanity. That's it. I promise, if you're willing to do this and push yourself and to think about how you can give to yourself and other people, you will find a surge of energy that will come through that you may not have had before in your life. And if you feel like your life is kind of stuck or whatever, this is another way for you to kind of move things forward. You'll start to have more inspiration, more intuition, and more guidance in every part of your life because you're willing to listen to how you can serve others and serve yourself. Once again, I hope you guys have enjoyed this week. If you have any thoughts for me, please go onto the website, unleashg.com, and let me know what's going on. Let me know your thoughts. If you have something you want me to review, like a book, or want to become a guest or share stories or whatever, let me know. Would love to have your thoughts. Thank you again so much for being with me, and have a wonderful weekend. Talk soon.